Hi, I'm Orion Sun, and I'm at UConn with WHUS Radio 91.7 FM. Thank you. I'm excited. It's really pretty here in the fall. It's nice. I like to say I'm from South Jersey, like Mount Laurel specifically, but I was born in Philly, so I do have a connection there. Yeah, I'm based in Crown Heights. Love it. It's beautiful. It's inspiring. I think I'm going to be there for a minute. They both give me something different. Like, I'm about to go to the middle of nowhere tomorrow. But I love living in Brooklyn. So it just depends on where I am in life, mentally, emotionally, and I love both. Just because I feel like growing up in South Jersey, it was such a middle ground to, like, you can get to the city, like Philly, really close. You can get to the beach really close. Like, nothing is really over, like, 2 hours. When I was young, I was like, I want to live in the city. I want an apartment in New York. And so that now that that's happening, it's kind of like a beautiful full circle moment. But I just can't get rid of both. That's great. Yeah. That's good. You know what? I miss Wawa so much. I mean, Wawa used to be so much more simple. Like, someone told me recently, because they don't have Wawas in New York, someone told me recently that they have egg rolls now. At Wawa. And they have fries and burger. It's so random. But what I used to get from Wawa, other than any candy of my choice, is just turkey hoagie. Super simple. I get the same thing every time. Lettuce, tomatoes, onions, pepper, oregano. I'm super plain, a little bit of mayo. Toasted. You got to get the whole sandwich toasted, not just the bread. Yeah. I have to, like, go back, and maybe I might have a different answer because I want to try these new stuff. But, yeah, just a hoagie. Wawa at, like, midnight. Like, it's so good. Any time of day, really. Wawa's better than Sheetz, just in case anyone sees this and is from Pennsylvania area. I'll start with writing, since that's the start of it. I was really into poetry, still am, but I wanted to be like a spoken word artist for a minute. But then I felt like there was like a ceiling to it in terms of, like, I didn't really see how I could express everything that I'm feeling. I, like, always was in choir, like, in school, but, like, mainly because, like, a lot of my friends were in it, and just it was a cool community. But I never really, like, took it serious until around high school. And, yeah, I just picked up guitar, put it down, picked it up, put it down again, because it took me a while before I, like, didn't want to quit, because it can get really frustrating. And then after that, I, like, wrote my first song, and then I was just kind of, like, hooked on it. And then production came along when I reached another ceiling in, like, my technical abilities and, like, because I taught myself guitar, so I'm just like, I can only use these chords so many times, even though I would love that. So that just kind of came about, just looking for more sounds and more ways to score how I'm feeling, what I'm going through. What inspires me the most has to be my experiences. Some of my experiences, I feel like were meant to break me, and they didn't. Some experiences were meant to lift me up, and they did. And just living life and reminding myself to be grateful for it and things like that helped me to see the world more detailed. And it's not necessarily this really big bad place, but just a really beautiful place where bad things happen, because that's life. So that inspires me to just be me, whether it feels right, whether it feels wrong. sometimes my anxiety and stuff prevent me from being me truly. And so what inspires me to get back to like my truth and what I love is what I've been through and learning from that. Now, the list is so long. Like, it really is. Like, I get inspired by so many people. Obviously, the people that I love and, like, my family, like my mom and things like that. But even, random things like what just happened where it's just like you hear a song and it's like, oh, they're listening. That's really cool. Like, little confirmations here and there. It's really nice. That's hard. I think about that a lot. Um, the easy answer for me is soul, just because I'm singing from my soul. But also because of who I'm influenced by. I feel like they're influenced by or are soul. But if I had to get more specific, it's just so weird because answering this question, I feel like I'm just listing genres that I like because that's kind of what it is. I just use sounds I take from wherever I want to take from and then bring it over here. So it might be like indie rock or it might be like R&B or something, but to me it's just like what I like in this thing, and we'll call it soul. I look at, for example, the R&B landscape, and it would be nice to put some people in that box just so we can like grow it, because I feel like I love R&B so much, but it becomes really stagnant at some times. And then when you hear some really cool R&B, it's like alternative R&B, and it's just like, why isn't it just R&B today? You know what I mean? So I always go back between like F genres and labels, and then it's like, well, if we're gonna have them, let's like broaden them and make them really cool. So the only thing I mixed and mastered was my first project, a collections of fleeting moments and daydreams, and that's kind of like a mixtape thing. And then I mix and master like all of my test mixtapes, so that's why they're mixtapes, to be honest. But like Hold Space for Me, my new single Concrete, like I think Joe Viciano mixed Hold Space for Me. He did an amazing job. Erin also helped with the mixing on that project. And I have Joe Laporta master like everything because he's amazing. So outside of like the technical stuff, where are people going to listen to this the most? So I'm assuming headphones. Headphone mix is super important to me, just as important as a stereo mix, a car mix. So I'm constantly like tweaking, and then listening to the songs in those contexts. So it's part technical, part feel, because I look at mixing as more of an art form than actually like you have to do it this way.
It's a little bit more like free flowing.
Yeah, and just like building the atmosphere that you want versus like it just sounding technically amazing. I think not the latter is just as important as it being also technical, because you have to like, you want to be transported. At least me, I want to like listen to something and like be somewhere else. Yeah. Ableton. Yeah, but it was definitely a climb.
Really?
Yeah, like my first project was all GarageBand,
Okay.
and then it was Logic.
I'm a Logic baby.
I miss Logic, I really do. But what Logic has, as a vocalist, the takes.
Yes, and you can like select.
I miss the takes. Like
Yeah.
Ableton, you have to stop it,
Really?
delete, start again, or just make multiple tracks.
Sucks.
You can't just like, or you have to make like a 10-minute song just to keep the loop going. So,
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, I miss Logic, but shout out Ableton always. Just like visiting studios and stuff, it's like rare to find someone on Ableton. Like it's like definitely Pro Tools or like FL or Logic. I love reverb. I love reverb. I love chorus. I love a chorus on a guitar. It just gets me every time. I'm just like, all right, where are we going? The beach? Where are we going? It really depends, and I learned that making Hold Space for me, because that was the first time I was like in a studio where we could have anything we need, and just sometimes the analog didn't match up to the software, but then other times it's like, duh, we gotta use this like bass from like the 70s that is so dope. Or mics also, like a really old mic can be really cool, but with all the stuff you can do, I like to keep my vocal kind of like as pure as possible. But it's just just technology is just so good these days. It really is a toss up. Really depends. Yeah, I'm obsessed with texture. I feel like it adds to the world in the song. So sometimes it is good to like just use that analog instrument. Oh, I also want to say, I just thought of something too. The imperfections of playing, like actually playing versus like programming it, are really special too. That's it. I get really excited when we talk about stuff like this. Yeah. It depends. Like, I feel like I keep saying that so much, but it really does. On my mood, like sometimes, like if I'm overcome with emotion, I'm getting these words out, and they're gonna go somewhere eventually. But most times, if I'm like very intentional, like I'm sitting down to do music now, I'm building. It's kind of like writing a book. Build the setting, so I gotta have the beat, just to know where we're at, and then write from there. Yeah, that's how it goes. It's really never one way, and it's really good not to do it like that, because then it will always kind of feel like more of an adventure instead of like a job, you know? Pandemic has changed me. I'm sort of vibing at like just being in my own world and like creating. That's been really fun. Mainly because it's pretty overwhelming but heartwarming to perform, and I really love connecting and I don't know, seeing people. I just feel seen and loved, and I love that part of performing. But I am my worst critic sometimes, so I'm just like, that didn't really sound good live, or could have did that better. And so more of like my own world where I can just kind of mess up and not be too hard on myself about it. But performing, the more I do it, like I guess the better I'll be. So maybe my answer will change. Who knows? It's my third show. Third show. Many more. I was on the plane, and then I was like sleeping the whole ride, and then I woke up to the captain, and I just was like, I want to record this, because it was like a dream. I've always wanted to go, so I just had to like capture that moment. To be honest, it's not computing, only because I can't imagine doing anything else. But if I had to, I would definitely want to be a director. I love films, and I try to creative direct like all of my music videos. I just love telling stories. So I'm still kind of in the same realm, I guess. But it would definitely have to be that. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be music. Yeah, I see myself knowing myself more, loving myself more. I see myself kind of, I don't know, being more sure about the things that I want personally. Musically, I see myself just, creating, whether it's good or bad, just getting stuff out of me. Hopefully happy, Just I want to be content and well-traveled. I like you a lot, but I I'm not like, you mentioned The Office, right? So Michael Scott says something where he's like, I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. And I agree, because I feel like some of the people I want to work with, I don't want to jinx it, you know? It's along the lines of like love yourself, but like self-esteem is really important, and taking care of yourself is really important. And loving yourself, therefore you can love others. Therefore it can just snowball and be like this really beautiful place. But it really does start within. So being able to sit in very uncomfortable feelings, being able to sit in really good feelings and be present in those moments will, I don't know, be everything. And that stays with me a lot, because I want to be present. I want to feel everything, and that means even the bad, and move on and learn and grow. So that has to be my favorite.
Our descent in about 25 minutes from now. I hope you felt comfortable aboard and had a nice flight. And after landing, I wish you a safe trip to your further destination or a nice day in Paris. Thank you for listening, and have a nice rest of the flight.